Alright, I thought I'd do a video as I'm working and I'm on a long drive out in the country in between sites. I basically wanted to get my thoughts down on my author career, I guess would be the way to put it. And my Heir to a Lost Son, or the Lost Son series, is still not really selling very well. So I've released 2 books and then 2 side books, which are the short books I wrote using writing sprints. The second short book isn't out yet, Fall of a Lost Son, which is originally my reader magnet book. More on that in a moment. And the first one is Ruins of Lost Son. They're both the side books to the main series. Each are about 25,000 words long, and I wrote them with writing sprints. So with Fall to a Lost Son, the reason I'm releasing that is it was a reader magnet book to attract people to my newsletter, but as my main books, Heir to a Lost Son and Dawn of a Lost Son, aren't really selling much, I'm really just getting a borrow every 8-9 days and haven't had a sale in over a month on either of them. So yeah, no one's joining up to my mailing list. And with Ruins of a Lost Son, it's sold about 10 copies, and now it seems pretty much dead in the water. So again, not getting people signing up to my newsletter list. So that book's doing nothing, so I'm putting it up there. Now, as to the business itself, as my books haven't taken off, I've put the Lost Son series on hold. I don't know if I'll release another side book or not, because I did start one, I just haven't gotten very far into it. But I have finished writing a lit RPG book, which is sort of a side series to the Lost Son book, though I'm not going to brand it as such. I'm not branding it as a Lost Son book. It's just going to be its own thing, and it's mainly going to target people that aren't really necessarily straight up fantasy readers that might be interested in Heir to a Lost Son. As it's lit RPG, it's going to attract a somewhat similar audience, but also a different audience. So the people that read it aren't necessarily going to know anything about the Lost Son world. And I hope I hit it bigger. I don't expect to hit it massive on the first lit RPG. Again, I'll go into that in a moment, why I don't think I'll hit it massively. But I hope to hit it bigger than I've done with the other books. It'd be great if I actually made my money back on the investment into the book, on the editing mainly. Because yeah, I haven't made anywhere near the investment back on any of my other books. I'm hoping Fall of a Lost Son, when it comes out, will do a bit better, but I'm not holding my breath on that considering how bad the other 3 have done. So the lit RPG book is 44,000 words, roughly there it ended up. I wrote it all in a month. It probably took 5 weeks because I had to plan it, because I've never written in the genre before and it's actually pretty complex. You got to make up character classes and abilities and stats and all this other sort of stuff on top of the normal world building. I tried to hit as many of the genre tropes as possible because I wrote to market, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I hated writing it and I just did it for money. I actually really enjoyed writing it and thinking up. I mean, I used to want to be a game designer, so it was great writing in lit RPG because I got to do a bit of that as well as the writing part. So I had a lot of fun. I'm going to start book 2 within the next week, and it's the 31st of January here in Australia now. So yeah, I'm hoping book 2 will be finished by the end of February. Sooner would be better, but it's just a time thing. And I was finding I could do 3,000 words a day with some difficulty when I was writing the first book, lit RPG book, and I wasn't using sprints like I normally would, which made writing a lot easier. So 3,000 words a day would be great, but anything over 2,000 would be excellent. I want to write the second book about roughly the length of the first one, so say 40,000 words long, just to keep the costs down, and then book 3 after that. But I'm not going to release the first book until after book 2's out. I don't want to make the mistake where, you know, if book 1 takes off, that I've got nothing to back it up. As these are shorter books and Fall to a Lost Son's not coming out until the 13th of February, I've bought myself a little time to get the other books ready for launch. I'd love to release a book a month, even if they're shorter books, just to keep the flow going and hopefully attract readers that, okay, this author's got a lot of books coming out, so maybe I'll buy one, and knowing that another book's coming out the following month type thing. So the Lost Sun series is temporarily on hold. I'm going to focus on the lit RPG books, which are a sort of side series. I'll need to adjust stuff in the Lost Sun series, book 3 of the main books, Rise of a Lost Sun, because the characters, a couple of the characters from that are in the lit RPG book, which is not really going to have to change very much because there is some similarities in the Lost Sun series. There is a computerized world that they're in book 2 and 3, so it's not that too much of a leap having a side book as a lit RPG. But yeah, I will have to adjust a few tiny things, and eventually I'll have to bring both series together at the end. So those are my plans. Focus on the lit RPG book and temporarily put the Lost Sun series on hold. I'd like to actually make money with the writing, and I don't have that much money to invest in promotion for the Lost Sun series. I will be releasing a box set of books 1 and 2 of the Lost Sun series, Heir to a Lost Sun and Dawn of a Lost Sun, soon, hopefully in the next month or two, as well as I'll probably put the 2 side books as a box set as well, because there's 2 of them, each about 25,000 words each, or a bit over actually. So yeah, there's a 50,000 word box set. And as well as with box sets, I can spend a bit more on Amazon ads, risk a bit more. If I'm selling like the Heir to a Lost Sun one for $6.99 or something, I'm going to be more willing to up my bids, because my Amazon ads are doing atrocious. They're just not getting impressions. The Ruins of the Lost Sun actually had a really good conversion rate compared to impressions with clicks, and it had a decent sales rate to clicks, but now the impressions are dead. I've started new ads with Ruins of a Lost Sun, still dead. I just can't get the ads to take off. They're just not getting impressions. I still need to understand the ad side of things a bit better. I've tried to cull some of the keywords that aren't getting any impressions, but I'm still getting nowhere really. So the Heir to a Lost Sun, I mean, across maybe 14 or 15 ads, it's probably had about 80 clicks and maybe about 5 sales out of that. So the conversion rate there is terrible, but I've updated my blurb several times. I'm just not really getting the clicks, and definitely not the clicks on the same ad to even really know what's going on there. Does my blurb work? I have no idea. Maybe my cover's too steampunk. Maybe I'm even targeting the wrong audience. Maybe my audience isn't epic fantasy, and maybe I should be targeting something else, steampunk or something, I don't know. But there's one thing I learned from the Heir to a Lost Sun, Dawn of a Lost Sun thing, and writing those books, although I did know it when I was writing them, I suppose, put my head in the sand. And that's basically, by crossing so many genres, it's going to be hard to find my target market, who are my books aimed at. Now with the lit RPG, I know exactly who the target audience is. I know what sort of books they read, and I know what sort of books to promote my book with when I do, say, Amazon ads. I can just focus on other lit RPG fantasies, basically. But with Heir to a Lost Sun, I'm floundering around trying to find my target audience, and it's not that easy, because without knowing who you're after, it just makes it hard to target your ads. So you probably spend a lot more money doing it and spend a lot more time than you otherwise would. So writing to market is definitely something that's going to be in my future. Not to say I'm not going to finish the Lost Sun series, I totally am, but it might end up just being more of a vanity project type thing, rather than an actual something that's going to make me money. Although I will be re-releasing them eventually, I hope. Anyway, I just thought I'd give an update and make a note to myself. I can listen to this in 6 months' time and see where I'm at. I'm hoping I'm actually doing okay for myself, and that my writing business is actually paying for itself rather than costing me money, and I make pretty much 0.1% of it back, basically. So the more money I make out of it, the more money I can reinvest in better covers and more editing and stuff like that. So thanks for listening. This is Riley Morrison. See you later. I forgot to address why I don't think the lit RPG will necessarily do as well as it could, and that's basically because the cover is not going to look that great compared to a professional cover as I'm making it myself. Ideally, if I had the money, I'd have hired one of the other cover designers that do a lot of the lit RPG books, but I'm going to have to design it myself because we just don't have the money for me to spend hundreds of dollars on a cover at the moment, just because we've got some big bills coming up and anyway, a bunch of other stuff, so I just don't have the money for it. And any money I do have, I'd rather put toward promotion, and I know covers and promotion go hand in hand, but I'm really not going to be spending much on promotion, so I'm gimping myself, but there's just nothing I can do. So that's the reason I don't think the lit RPG will do that well, because of the cover.